Hey, brothers and sisters. All right. I'm back again. All right. The Reluctant Nabi and showing you the further decline of the community and why it's in decline. All right. Again, if you're a good brother, we just need to leave the BAF alone. Can't call them women. They definitely not ours. All right. But I want y'all to I wanted to give y'all an update on this story, but first let me greet everybody. Hovorten Hardugudag, Ola Oi to the Bang, Vasas Los, Bonjour mes amis, Kedabawani Konnichiwa, Ni hao ni ama, Sani Bonani, Jumbo Harbaigani, Assalamu alaikum and Shalom. And I forgot on the last video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and when you subscribe, click that notification bell. All right. And I'm putting these up kind of early because I'm heading back out to the favela today. But this is some stuff that needs to be said. I was looking at my comments, and this is some stuff that needs to be said. So I hinted at the story of the soldier and everything, and y'all know me. Before I jump on something, I want to make sure it is what it is, right? Because there's always a narrative. There's always a narrative that we need to pay attention to, that the news is not going to give us. And quite frankly, me, I'm one of those people that want to have enough of the facts possible so that I can pretty much see if it is what it is. And in this case, it literally is what it is. All right. So this is how the news breaks it down. The news. All right. So we'll start with KUT. We'll start with KUT. Wife of slain Army sergeant charged with premeditated murder. Okay, this was on the 14th, right? The wife, U.S. Army sergeant, gunned down who was gunned down in his family's driveway on New Year's Eve, was arraigned Monday on murder charges. Camilla Nakia Hassel, 22, was charged with first-degree murder, premeditated murder, a life offense without the possibility of parole, and what the police say was a plot to kill her husband. Camilla Hassel bond was set at $2.5 million because she's able to post bond. The court ordered her to wear a tether and have no contact with the family of Tyrone Hassel. Police say, and look at this, the Obama army trying to push feminism has made it possible for anybody to just do anything to the Afro man. And funny, you don't hear his behind coming up and talking about how wicked these women have become. All right. Police said both Camilla Hassel and 24-year-old Jeremy Culler, both who are on active duty members of the Army stationed at Fort Stewart, Georgia, engaged in an extramarital affair and plotted to kill Tyrone Hassel. What you have in the army. Now, let me explain to you what's going on in the army. With the Obama administration, he weakened the standards of the army. He feminized it to the point that when a lot of us old school military people went in, when they said they'll make a man out of you, they made women out of women. I mean, look, let's keep it real. When I was in, because when I was in, we wore all whites because we worked in a hospital. We wore all whites all the way down to white shoes. The women wore all whites. They could wear pants, they could wear dresses. They had more variety of the all white uniform, right? And we had some fine, feminine women that could do some push-ups, that could run, that could do some sit-ups. Not as many as the men, but they was in shape, they were fine, they were feminine. And then, and this was still under Clinton. All right. Then Obama comes in and completely upends the military from its purpose to change it into a political bludgeoning tool with stress cards, with women not having to look. Part of the process of basic training is to weed out the people that are too weak to train. To weed out the people that are mentally too weak to train. You know, the ones that's crying all the time because you making them do push-ups at 3 in the morning. I didn't like it. I was mad at the dudes. We had like 2 dudes. I stayed doing push-ups. All right. I stayed doing push-ups. 3, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Got to get up at 6 or 5. Broken sleep. I got tired of that mess. All right. But then at around the 6th week, I saw us being turned into soldiers. When I first got there, people were stealing from people, man. People will steal your eyelashes, stuck to your eyes at night if they could. If you had females in the barracks in these days, they would. All right. I'm just saying. All right. Then we grew into a cohesive unit. You don't have that in the military anymore. You have a system of privilege and cutthroat behavior, cutthroat mentality. The worst people to be in a battle with in today's army is the dude next to you. Unless you're in like the Rangers or the Special Forces. But the regular forces is really effed up because a lot of women in there did not want a cohesive unit. They wanted privilege. And they wanted to disguise privilege as equality. They didn't want to make the PT standards totally equal because the men always have to do more to get the same score as the women. No, they wanted that to stay the same, but they wanted to go into men's fields, like in the infantry, so that they could get promoted to general faster. All right, because everything is a political hack. Because we can push buttons. So now you got this mixed with the single-minded, independent, I don't need no man, black woman that goes in there. These soldiers are then being trained by black women that are now their drill sergeants along with some black men. All right. And it used to be segregated when we first went in, and it should have stayed that way because now you got dudes that don't know how to act like men. And these women cannot train them to be men. There was things that the drill sergeants trained you to do that wasn't in the book because they were men, you was a man. There was things that they could do for correction that wasn't in the books because they understood what was needed because they were older men and understood that you were just trying to become a younger man. You wasn't crap yet. All right. They needed to get that street attitude out of your head. They needed to put some standards like loyalty, honor, and all that in you. so that it wasn't something that you memorized on a board. All right. So now you don't have that anymore. There is no loyalty in the military. There is no honor in the military. The military is now very cutthroat, with your biggest enemies being the women. And the civilians, how they treat the military is no better. I had one threaten to stab me, and I still have the memorandums for record. And they came after me, and I was a sergeant, and there was a woman that threatened to stab me. But the women in charge, the E8 white woman that was in charge, along with the sellout black E7 sergeant that was in charge, came after me. Oh, I developed the attitude then that, yeah, just don't F with me anymore. So this is the military that you have. So I'm not surprised at this, because one of the standards in the military when I was coming up is you could not sleep with somebody else's wife. They did not only frown down upon that, they kicked you out. And then all these women come in, they're not getting kicked out. They might get a counseling statement, whatever. But nothing is really happening to them. So now we have this situation here where these women are using the weak-minded thug mentality dudes that had grown up in a single black mother household to set up another dude that she was married to have him off because she was like the other guy better now, because her excuse is, well, I'm young. Remember at 17 when a black woman used to know how to do everything back in the day? Now, these women have trained their daughters to grow up to be pieces of crap from 17 on into the 40s and 50s, trying to find a man at 47, 48, 49, 50. All right. You're not going to compete with the younger version. All right. And then they want to keep us from being men. Oh, why are you going to the DR? Oh, because somebody desires you physically? Yeah, because we're men. All right. They wanted to use control. They couldn't control, so they resort to murder. All right. So they're charged with premeditated murder and the Weaved Wonder charged with a love triangle that has gone wrong. So this is basically what the New York Post found out. All right, Camille Hassel, 22, Jeremy Kohler were charged first-degree murder, and this was like 20 hours ago, New Year's Eve, in the ambush of Tyrone Hassel III. Right? Now, the reason why this is seeing a light of day, because he has a father. And the father was making sure he was going to get down to it. And the father, with logic, knew that this woman had something to do with it. He was on leave for the holidays outside his father's home in St. Joseph Township, Michigan, where the sergeant had been staying with relatives and the couple's 1-year-old. All right. So the Berrien County prosecutor, Michael Septis, said in the news release Monday, Hassel and Queller were believed to have been involved in an extramarital affair and possibly conspired to kill Hassel to collect the Army's death benefit and keep their tort affair going. All right. Here's the thing. When I told you that the problem with me finding a black woman before I retired was this, that they only saw the benefits, right? Military officials provide $100,000 death gratuity to next of kin when a service member dies while on active duty. Life insurance service member can dole out up to $400,000. That's $600,000 according to Army Times. They were assigned to the 1st Armored Brigade. Remember, these are the people next to him that you would go to battle with. All right. And so basically, Septic Sergeant said Hassel had been at a family gathering in Benton Harbor on December 31st before turning to his family home in Fairplain to bring convenience of food from the get together. Understand this. So this woman asked him to do something he's going to do that because he's nice to her still, right? Hassel was then ambushed by a suspect who shot and killed him as he returned to his pickup truck after dropping off the food. So basically, here's the setup. She asked for his food. He brings it to her. And then as he's walking out, she calls him and he goes and do the job. And this is the problem I have with simps. Because a simp will do any effed up thing for a black woman to a good man. All these simps that's coming on your post, understand if a black woman wanted the community to die at their hands, they would do it. Talking about we defend our black queen. Several days prior to the killing, Septic said Kohler traveled from Fort Stewart to Chicago, where he awaited direction from Keena Hassel to ambush her husband. So the dude went from Fort Stewart, Georgia to Chicago to await directions from a black. Look at this. Look at how weak these black women are raising these dudes to be. He traveled that distance to wait direction from a black woman. This is what happens when you have the black woman leading the community. They're going to lead a bunch of simps that will not think twice to take your life at her request. This is what the black queens, the so-called black queens in Africa have always done, and why their countries, communities, and queendoms always failed when they became queen. The kingdoms went on for a while and was kind of dynastic. But the queendom cannot survive a black woman ruling. The whole land gets destroyed. All right, so you have the story. He said, the father, of the murdered soldier, meanwhile, said he's still stunned after his daughter-in-law was charged with killing his son. You got to understand, man, this is a person that slept in my home. I spent 2 weeks with this person after she killed my son. Look at the wickedness of this woman. You got to understand this person slept in my home. I spent 2 weeks with this person after she killed my son. The father said he thought his daughter-in-law was a completely different person and she deceived the entire family. Why? Because these Black women have been doing this kind of stuff to us for a while. They've been sleeping with the KKK and having husbands lynched. They got us sold into slavery. They've always been in cahoots with evil. That's why I keep saying, I'm going to put it to you this way. I grieve for her more than I grieve for myself, he continued, because I saw a woman that lost her husband. I looked at my grandson and saw a kid that lost his father. And why could he grieve? Because he was a father who wasn't grieving, really, the murderer, the women. Notice that her Black single mama that don't need no man and don't have anything to say, along with the single woman that raised this dude, the other murderer, right here. This is sad indeed. And the saddest part is that every time we try to warn people as to what's going on, nobody wants to listen to us that's giving the warning. But everybody wants to listen to the people that's doing the wickedness. All right. Man, these women will stab you in the back and in the front. Period. You better make sure it's a sister. And trust me, like I said, on this channel, I know I got some true sisters because they support what I do. When you can be honest and a sister supports you, then you know that's a for real sister. Anyone that gets angry at honesty, especially when it's affecting our community, they're the ones that's more likely to betray you. If you have to walk on eggshells and can't talk about politics, I mean, for real. And I don't mean agree with them in politics and religion. Speak the truth. Tell them they need to learn something different. Then we as righteous brothers need to stay away from them. These women, this is their heart right now. This is the heart of the simps right now. The simps are everywhere because the BAWs, the BAFs created them to be everywhere. And now we got to watch our backs. And understand the simp. The first thing a simp is going to want to do, I really don't trust anybody. I'm going to just keep it real. Can I keep it real? I really don't trust anybody that after I put out all this information, have a heart. I really don't trust anybody fully that have a hard time with my position or what I say when they look at all of this. When I put out the abortion statistics alone, that should tell you enough. All right. I don't trust no dude. I don't trust no man. I don't care whether you listen to me or not. I don't trust no man that cannot grasp this concept, especially when I put out. I understand we did the math. So I don't just be like, this is what it is. I'm saying this is what it is because we did the math together and I remember the number. And if y'all notice, when we did the math, I usually lowball the number. You see what I mean? So this is wickedness. So I'm about to be out. Like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. For those that want to help this channel, my donation link will be in the description box along with my email. Brothers, when we going to get tired enough to separate and call this mess out? For me, I already am. I've been tired of this when I saw the effects on children. The sad part is I don't see this in many other so-called brothers. All right. So peace out, y'all. Watch your back. Because if you don't, you might have a knife in it or some simp trying to put some lead in it. With that said, I'm out.